Hello and welcome to another Raggy's Beers, Wines and Spirits review, a live review. And tonight, reviewing, if anybody shows up, because there's about 10. Good evening, Thomas. There's about 10 beer tubers doing live reviews across the internet at the moment. I've just looked on. And then there's Harry, there's Craig, there's Peter, there's Real Ale Craft Beer, God knows who else. So it is what it is. So tonight, reviewing from Neon Raptor, a Nottingham-based brewery based out of the Sneinton Market. It is their Defeat the Rancor. That's how the hell do you pronounce it? Every time I pronounce it, it sounds like Defeat the Wankar. You know, it's this is a pecan maple Danish Imperial Stout. Lovely colour. Good evening, Benjamin. And good evening, Chris. Yeah, lots of lives. Jesus Christ. I've been up the house, went for a wee, had a McDonald's, as you do. And yeah, I didn't even know I was getting a McDonald's. That was a bonus, that was. And luckily, I didn't have to eat it on camera either. And so, yeah, lots and lots of lives tonight. And I've got my lovely, that I bought last weekend, my Neon Raptor glass. Look at that little beauty. It's a little beauty, that is. Good evening. So on this glass, which I do like, it comes out with a third. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. It comes out with a third, then a half, and then 2/3. Good evening, Edward, as well, and Super Fat Bat. So yeah, Neon Raptor. Let's have a look at this. I do love these beers. Obviously, Emperor's Brewery. I just had 2 on the Raggies. Yeah, I didn't go too heavy. It was more about a chat, really. Craig joined me, and yeah, it's just more about chatting. Now, Craig's gone off to do his own live, and then Harry's got his live, and Peter's got his live, and then you've got the Stoned Crow that's doing their live. Everyone's doing a live tonight. Yeah, one of them nights, isn't it? Yeah, it's about. But I suppose in some ways it's good for everyone, really, because if you like a certain person or you like a certain beer, like the sound of a certain beer, if they actually put their beer on, you know, it's good to join in, and you can flit as well. Good evening. So yeah, defeat the Wancor. The Wancor. How the hell do you pronounce that? Because every time I say it, it sounds like it says defeat the wanker. It don't take long, Edward. It don't take long at all. I do, PJ. Yeah, I do. Yeah, yeah. But no, could you imagine having a glass? Let's just leave that there for a second. Could you imagine having a glass that says that? They're half drunk and fucked. Hey, going up the house. The wife looks at the glass. Fucked. That's it. Fuck off. Back down the shed. So yeah, it's a maple and pecan Danish pastry imperial stout. It's sticky, thick, rich, and a little scary. A collaboration with Stout Whiz and good friend Emperor's Brewery was long overdue, and we're happy we finally managed to make it. It's so. Do you know these people? Both Neon Raptor. I've seen him at the craft beer festival, and he's actually the one, the bloke I seen. I'm sure there's 2 people in charge. But the bloke I seen was really, really nice bloke, quiet, stood in the background. And it's surprising how many of these brewers are actually quite reserved people. You'd think they'd be more out there, but they're not. They're really quite quiet. Totally brewed. The man in charge of that, he came through as really quiet. One in the fridge for Halloween. Bless you, mate. Bless you. I've actually had this on keg. I went down to Neon Raptor's tap room last Sunday. Sunday? Yeah, it had to be Sunday. Yeah. No, No, it was Saturday. Saturday we went down. Yeah, because we went after she went on a course. That's good to hear, Hoodie, that is, yeah. I'm glad that people like it because, emotions can go to your head. When you drink a beer that obviously it's named after you, you collaborated to brew it, and your heart's in that beer. And then I was panicking. When you see other beer reviewers drinking it, and it's like, oh, are they going to like it? And same as people in the pubs. And I had a good friend of mine, and he wasn't impressed. I'm like, oh dear. And yet then somebody else in the pub, they drank it who didn't really, and they loved it. So it's amazing how beers are. So yeah, 13%. Neon Raptor Brewing Company Limited, based at Unit 14, Avenue A, Snenton Market, Nottingham, NG1 1DT. And I'm really pleased that we have got this in Nottingham, Neon Raptor in Nottingham. And thank you to Mr. Emperor's Brewery for collaborating with them. Emperor's Brewery, playing the fucker. Yeah. Some beers are really hard to pronounce. I struggle with my R's and W's, which is why every time I say the name of the beer, it don't sound right. But hey ho, right. Let's pour this beer into this lovely glass. Let's do some sampling, as it were. Oh, yeah, and I had this on keg. Oh my gosh, that's gorgeous. Even just licking the bit off my hand. Obviously, more of a standard pint glass than like a normal, and what you'd have an Imperial. But boy, does that look good. Built your pub shed last year, fair play. Of all the years to do that sort of thing, this beer room, I had a put that over there so I don't spill it. I had a bar in here, but I didn't have the beer wall till last year, till COVID hit, and I got some 8-foot pallet lengths from work. Them big super lengths of pallet, and that's when I built the beer wall, and then I did the extension with the glass wall, and then the extension for the homebrew setup. And it's we all need that little place, don't we? A bit of salvation, somewhere to get away from the real time. You looked at the missus and burst out laughing. Fair play to you there. So lovely black pour on this, lovely tan head. Definitely can smell the pecan straight away, that nuttiness. There's a sweetness as well from the maple element. Oh, got to dive in. I've had it already on cask, so I'm salivating now. Gorgeous. Yeah, I hate the word man cave. Absolutely hate it. That's why I call this the beer room, and then the members of the community called it Raggy's Tap Room. There you go, Raggy's Tap Room, and that became like the hashtag thing. But for me, it will always be the beer room. No wood, no, too expensive as well. Yeah, yeah. Although Chris, I'd always go down the pallet route. I've been to Wix's near me this week, and over the last couple of weeks, and they've been chucking away pallets, and the big 6-foot by 4-foot pallets. So I've got a pallet buster, and I can rip open a pallet in about 5 minutes. I mean, these pallets aren't them ones from the old days, where it's super strong pallets. But you can rip these pallets, and I'm taking them to work, and I'm having them at work to build flower beds in and raised planters work. But you could build a shed or a hot tub room out of pallets, no doubt. So what you've got to take away from this is that is a nice drop. The sweetness of the maple, the nuttiness from the pecan, the richness, the 13%. Wow, the eyes. It's a good thing I've got the bigger screen over there so I can see any comments that come in. Because the eyes, woof. And it was nice. It was nice to actually drag the wife down to Neon Raptor so she could experience. She's never going to like every beer that I chuck in front of her. But I gave her the get on the floor, the 14.5% Imperial. She drank some of it, but she couldn't get on with the flavours. And the ABV was rocking her. Whereas with me, you know, it was session strength for me. As it were. So it's crazy tonight. But all this, all these people all doing lives at the same time. It's like an extravaganza of lives. Yeah, I'd do the same. You know, who uses garages these days? Nobody parks the cars inside garages anymore. The only problem with garages is they're so bloody small that you get your car out and you're scratching the wall every time you get in and out. And put a bit of flooring down, insulation, floor, plasterboard, insulation on the wall. You can turn a garage into a brilliant man cave. Basically, what I've done in here, really, this was a 16 by 10 shed. I insulated the ceiling, floor, everything insulated. Put an electric hookup in here, put plasterboard in. Obviously, got sockets and that. And I even got Wi. I've got internet down here, but not Wi-Fi. That's a bone of contention. Well, we're going about sheds. We had a gazebo for the hot tub. We had the hot tub on the decking, and we had nosy neighbours staring over. So then we put the decking, we put the hot tub at the bottom of the garden, then bought a gazebo. But the wind was battering the gazebo, 120 quid down the drain. So the other 362 days a year, yeah, fair play, mate. I know where you're going. Yeah. So then I built a hot tub room last year, and I tell you what, that's been brilliant. And especially now with the since the bigger hot tubs died, we're using the smaller hot tub. Fits much better. We've got seating around the edge, got somewhere to put your booze, and it's a nice place. And because it's wood, when you've got the steam rising up, it makes the room like a sauna. So you get out of the hot tub as long as you don't open the door or the vent. I made a vent at the top to get the steam out. You know, you don't want to die. It's like 40 bloody degrees. But it's made a cracking thing. And you know, you've got an area of your garden. And that, with pallets to me are brilliant for building. Reclaimed wood, you can make some amazing stuff. Well, internet's gone off on there. Right, I'll turn that off then. Looks like half drunk. I'm reading off straight off the phone now. Let me turn my computer off. There's no point having that on. I'm not getting no internet. Update and shut down. Okay, that's gone off. So I do love these beers, these big imperial stouts. Um, the flavors in imperial stouts are amazing. You know, when you look from years ago to now, the evolution of beers, if anything, the craft beer world has brought to us is the fact that imperials are just so damn amazing. The range of flavors. I had an imperial sour. Good evening, Dave. How are you, matey? had an Imperial Sour from Neon Raptor the other night, and it was just the most amazing sour beer I've ever tasted in my life. Not a fan of sour beers per se, but that was absolutely bloody amazing. Yeah, I mean, we've got a driveway. We never put our car on the driveway because it's too much hassle. Opening gates to put the car on, to close the gate, and then get the chance some idiot's going to park across the driveway anyway. So we park across our own driveway. I mean, we're lucky because we've got 3 cars. My son's got a car, I've got a car, wife's got a car. So we take up 3 spaces. And then my son also has got a works van. So we take up 4 spaces outside. But my next door neighbour, he's not got a car anymore. The neighbours across the road, they've got a double driveway. So it's all good where we live. Although we have got some neighbours who's parked right on the brink of our driveway. Pain in the backs. Can't win more, can you? Is anybody who's coming down to the Robin Hood tonight, obviously, who's in the chat tonight, coming down to the Robin Hood and then doing the tap rooms on the Saturday? And I'm looking at you, Mr. Goathead, obviously. Because the tap rooms on the Saturday will be interesting. Wow, I'm really struggling looking at that screen now. I'm focused now. Focus. Yeah, focus on the screen. I blame Damien and Neon Raptor making me drunk. Rubbing his 30-year-old Jackie up for an hour. I think I'd bother. There's elements that I just couldn't be done with, the cars. I'd love a decent car to be fair, but they just, the tap rooms on the Saturday, gotta be done. I know the likes of, you've heard of Harry, Blue Nose Beer Reviews, he's going to be there. Mersey Beers is going to be there. Hopzine, Rob, he's supposedly coming up as well, so he's obviously one of the icons of the beer review community. I've never seen it, never talked to, well, I've never actually in person spoke to any of them 3. So it'll be interesting. In some ways, it gives people the chance to weigh you up, doesn't it? Because it's all right doing all this stuff on the internet, but when you meet somebody in real life, then you get to see the real person. And someone can be as nice as pie on the internet, then turn out to be an absolute arse off camera. And yeah, yeah. The Friday night, Chris, will be amazing. So many beers, mate. Make sure you water. If you're not a big beer drinker, doing the water thing. I did it with Craig, and it helped me get through the whole day. It did. Yeah. Otherwise, I'd be steaming after a few hours and I could go home. And when all these people have made an effort to come from all over the country to the beer festival, to meet up, I don't want to be the first one to fall. I want to be the last one. Yeah, rightio. I'll be there in some form. And that's it. We'll all look after each other's, get some water down our necks if need be. That's what people do, don't they? Especially when we know where everyone's staying, make sure everyone gets back to their hotels safely and that. And I mean, it's my city, so, I know the areas quite well. Yeah. And know the areas where you don't walk quite well. But on the whole, decent. I'm looking forward to it though, the beer festival. Obviously, the likes of Neon Raptor will be there in some form, I would have thought. Totally Brewed are going to be there. Black Iris are going to be there. Castle Rock, Blue Monkey, Navigation. So a big Nottingham contingent are going to be there. And I think they should as well. Lenton Lane Brewery are going to be there. So I've never met anybody from Lenton Lane Brewery. And it's going to be interesting to see if anybody recognises you and says hello to you. I didn't think that Totally Brewed recognised me, but he did. And Black Iris didn't. They did not recognise me at all, unless they just see me and didn't bother. But Totally Brewed did, and he was actually a really nice bloke as well. He's very quiet. And Navigation recognised me, and we had a right laugh with them lads. Oh my gosh, we were absolutely chuckling away. Yeah, I tell you what, Chris, it'll be more about the whole day for me is going to be about the experience, not just going to be a booze fest. It's going to be drink, chat, a bit of water, drink, chat, go round, might grab a few people for beer reviews, because there's going to be beer reviews. Not just me on my own, but someone's got the same beer as me. So, do you fancy doing a beer review? Those that want to, fair play. Those that don't, fair play, because not everybody wants to talk on camera. I know that, you know. And there's 1,000 beers, 1,000 beers. So studying the form is going to be interesting. You know when the and food, yeah, food, lots of entertainment. There'll be music. It's going to be interesting. Yeah. The venue itself, the venue, the cricket ground is a big place, but they're only using it, for me, a small portion of the cricket ground. Harry, Bruno's Beer Reviews, has already, with me, because we both know the area, he's already said that he's a bit concerned about the size of the venue. And I'm also concerned. I thought it would be all the way around the edge, all the way around, and maybe even on the pitch, but it's not. Nothing to do with the pitch, and it's only a certain amount. So will it be a scaled back Robin Hood this year? Not if they're having 1,000 beers, it won't be, because that to me still sounds like a normal Robin Hood beer festival. Obviously, like all beer festivals, they put X amount on each day. The breweries themselves that have got their own casks, they'll be pretty much well stocked up. Although everything runs out, don't it? Depends how good it is. And I definitely want to get lots of photos from there this year, videos, and I must take all my bloody charger stuff, so I don't, my phone does not run out of charge. On the second day, I bobbed up and took and didn't charge it properly, and I had some issues. But I won't this year. I'll make sure I do it. So 23 minutes in. For everybody watching in the background, good evening. Good evening, Darren. Old Speckle. Yeah. Morrison's got some cheap beers in at the moment. Yeah. Old Speckle's not a bad beer, to be fair. Now, for me, good evening. And yeah, happy Friday. Definitely, mate. This is one of those beers. Like a lot of good Imperial Stouts, you drink, you take a sip on. They're all sipping beers. They're not wolf it down your neck beers, because you're missing out on the experience. These beers are an experience. And for everybody watching in the future, yeah, they are an experience. They're not cheap. 8 or 9 quid a can is not cheap, but it's not meant to be that way. It's meant to be an experience. You're drinking a beer from one of Nottingham's best breweries that's recognised all around the country. So what does that say about them? A lot. An Emperor's Brewery, also from Leicester, from Colville in Leicester. And if Damien's watching, I hope it is Colville, mate. If I've got it wrong, you can give me a bollocking later, mate. Yeah, Colville in Leicester. And I spoke to the good man himself at Black Iris Brewery on their tap room on the second night of their new tap room opening. And I noticed him come in. I mean, it was a bit of a giveaway when there's this bloke, big tall bloke, with an Emperor's Brewery jacket on. And I looked and I thought, I'm sure that's in from Emperor's Brewery. So I took a photo and I tagged in Pip from Thornbridge, who was Blue Monkey at the side of me. And then I says, hey, looks like Emperor's Brewery's in the house. And he was in the house. And, and he came across, chatted for us for about 20 minutes. And from a homebrew background, and this, for every one of us who does homebrew, Damien, aka Emperor's Brewery, comes from a homebrew background, and he is so humble in the way he is. Like, I'm brewing beers with all these breweries, and and it'd be basically similar to be like me saying the same, going to breweries and brewing beers with breweries. It's like, Jesus Christ, I'm a no one, but I'm brewing beers with all these breweries. And he's the highest rated actual brewery in the world. The one above him is a mead brewery. So mead isn't beer anyway, so I don't know why that's classed as an actual brewery. But yeah, the guy is stunning. And if he's down at Robin Hood Beer Festival, oh my God, photo potential there, lads. And same with the breweries, there's some brilliant people from these breweries. And good evening, Darren. And it's good to, Robin Hood Beer Festival is going to be great, not only for the breweries, but also for the people to meet the brewers, to chat with all these different breweries, chat about what their plans are, the beers. Feedback is essential. Positive feedback, and even constructive feedback is essential. If you're drinking a beer and there's an element to the beer, no, not out yet, mate. No. As soon as it's out, there's going to be a Raggy's Robin Hood Beer Festival night where we talk all about the beer list. I'll go through the beer list bit by bit so everyone can see. We'll have a chat. Yeah, definitely going to be a big live that night. But yeah, constructive criticism of a beer is essential, because as a brewer, so if someone picks up on an off flavour that you haven't noticed, then that's a good thing. That is a good thing. When you turn around and say a beer is 1 out of 10 without being actually constructive, that just makes you out to be a poor reviewer. So hence why 99.999 times out of all the beers I've reviewed, I always try to be absolutely spot on. Try. Although when you're drinking something 13%, goes to your bloody head. Still, the aroma, we're 28 minutes in. The aroma is still amazing. 28 minutes in. The pecan, the maple. And the taste, room temperature. I don't know why any breweries put Imperials in fridge. I would never fridge an Imperial unless it's supposed to be in a fridge. Maybe an Imperial sour in a fridge, yes. Maybe it's a thing that you have it in the fridge for storage purposes, and then you transfer it from the fridge and keep it at room temperature when you take it home. Maybe that's the reasoning behind it. I'm always curious because a lot of craft beer companies put all their beers in a fridge, and stouts, porters are always better, in my own opinion, at room temperature. It's a bloody dreamy beer, though. I've had this on keg, tastes amazing. Didn't review it because I felt like a twat anyway at the tap room. I agree, PJ, and asking everybody here in the chat and those in the background, do you find sometimes that IPAs get a bit boring? We all know that Cloudwater brought their IPAs to Tesco this year. Yeah. Can't fault you, mate. And the beers themselves, I love the collab idea, but they're boring as hell. Cheers, mate. I'm glad you're enjoying the beers in outside a pub. The wet is it warm up there tonight? Because it's boiling in Nottingham. You walk out the beer room, it's like Jesus Christ. I'm in America. No, I always say room temperature for dark beers. Yeah, it's like most Christmas beers, apart from the golden jobbers. Room temperature's king. Obviously, it's up to the person involved because some people get, yeah, I agree, Hoodie. Some people get different elements. I mean, for me, this at room temperature is a stunner. And I've noticed with Neon Raptor, they do a lot of beers to honour their actual staff and random people. So they did a beer in honour of Hop Zine, Rob, but they've also done a boombox beer for a bloke in on a on one of these motorised wheelchair jobbies in Derby who has a like a what ghetto blaster, whatever you call them. They called it a ghetto blaster. That's another story for another day. But and then one of their staff's leaving. Good evening. One of their staff's leaving, and they've done a beer in honour of the member of staff. And that's great. You know, for companies to do that, even if it's only a one-off, is a lovely thing to do. So this is hitting home, and couldn't get the old bollocking off the family if I'm down the shed too long tonight. I've been down here for nearly 2 hours now, albeit slightly over. Your lads at a concert, I'd play. Roll with it from a vocation. Which was the roll with it? Is that one of the triple IPAs? I can't remember the name. When the beers themselves. I can't remember the actual name of the beers. Is it the Tesco triple IPA, or was that the banana one, the Imperial Stout? The Imperial Stout I actually really liked. The triple IPA I actually liked as well. To be fair, so again on the aroma, the DDH Pale. I've not reviewed that. That's why I don't know it. Yeah. So I've got that up here on my to review list. There it is. Yeah. So you didn't really rate this then, right? Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't rate the hop, skip, and juicy or whatever it was called um, on the spring or the summer, list. I agree, Chris. And I've noticed that even with the Raggy's Golden Ale, that some people get elements that I just don't get. And it's interesting what we all get out of different beers. I know the hops that are in the Raggy's Golden Ale. I know what you should be getting, and it's interesting to see what people do get. Um, I'm guilty of getting the wrong though, so I can't slag people off. But yeah, it is interesting what people get from exactly the same beer at exactly the same temperature, and you're like, how are you getting that? I didn't get any of that. And I've also, again with the Raggy's beer, talking about it, I actually had actual brewers, and one was a head brewer, and they actually reviewed the beer in front of me, but they gave me what they got from the beer. And I totally, especially one of them, you totally, you listen to everything he says, and what he got from the beer was quite really interesting, similar to what I get, but with slightly different elements. But he did say the beer was a good beer, which was a good thing. If he turned around and said that beer shit, that'd have been interesting. Chocolate and coconut. Oh, bless you. I had a coconut mild at Christmas from Blue Monkey. That was lovely. It was dreamy. The coconut element was lovely. Faith in Futures from Northern Monk. It's surprising what we all have as favourites. It's a good thing as well, because if it was all the same, we'd all be drinking the same bloody beer. None of us want to be drinking the same beer. That's where different taste is great. Could you imagine if every single one of us, all we liked was, I don't know, Guinness? It'd be a boring, wouldn't it? I've actually picked up the Marmite beer last night from Camden Town. Yeah, Marmite. See, I like Marmite as well. So it's going to be a very, very interesting review. I might do it tomorrow, early doors, before I do the big review tomorrow night. Ooh, 14.6%. Ouch. Someone's going to be steaming. Off steaming now, to be fair. So, the nutty from the pecan, the sweet from the maple, and the blooming strength of the ABV still there. Light tan head, neon black pour, stunning beer. From Neon Raptor, defeat the Rancor. Who came up with that name? Defeat the Rancor. Just sounds so wrong. Thank God it's an OR instead of an ER. Hey, I'd be getting myself into trouble. Defeat the wanker. I mean, Jesus Christ. Sounds bad enough when you say defeat the Rancor. Probably about 7 o'clock, mate. Yeah. Not too early in the day. So, another. This is an amazing Imperial Stout. On the nose, yes, definitely a nuttiness, maple, boozy, big boozy flavour, big boozy on the nose. All translates well to the taste. It's there's more complexities there that I'm bringing out. 13%, so big bloody ABV. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting review. Very interesting review. And maybe not a live review, because just in case I cringe. Out of 5 for me, a good 4.64 out of 5. Very nice and lovely to actually sample another Emperor's Brewery beer. Great that this fella supports Neon Raptor, Bang the Elephant, and Castle Rock, and so many local breweries, even with being such a big highly rated brewer across the world. So it's nice that you give back to local. One must always remember that local is where you live, and where giving back to local is critical. If only all beer reviewers did that. A lot of them do, not all, but a lot of them do. And that's it for this beer review. Recycling what you read on Untapped. See, I don't even bother with Untapped because it's a fucking shit spamming platform. It's crap. They emailed me loads. I had 5 emails in about 10 minutes. I'm like, fuck off. I don't want emails. No, I'm not. No. I don't like taxes. But yeah, be interesting to see who that is, PJ. Please message me off the comments if you like. Just Just unless you want to do it now and just tell us who it was, just out of curiosity, because we all like to know, and none of us care. People on this channel don't care. There's no airs and graces. We don't care. We just say it's how it is. Jobs are good, but yeah, stunning beer nonetheless. 40 minutes. I'm getting a bollocking, and yeah, the wife's upstairs. She'll be saying, "Oh, you finally come in?" Yeah, bollocking. So, but yeah, stunning beer, Neon Raptor, Emperor's Brewery, and wow, it was amazing on keg as well. Cheers, everyone. Yeah, please tell us, if not in this chat, after the chat's ended, in the comments, or even privately, because any one of us will tell the other one. Right, gotta run. Thank you all for joining. It's been a busy night. Multiple beer tubers, lots of people talking, and this is what it's all about, isn't it? A bit of interaction with the community. What it should be about as well. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah, personalities, eh? It's all good. Right, gotta run. Thank you for joining. The good man Kent Beer Reviews is probably still doing his live now. So if you can join on to him, he's a good lad. If anybody still needs to be on the internet, that is. Cheers.